So thank you very much. First, I warmly thank you for this opportunity to present Thales Alenia Space product and solutions for telecom applications. So on next slide, first I start with a brief introduction of Thales Alenia Space, just to say a few words about what we are doing. So we are really a space integrated company, meaning that yes, the main part of our activities is in telecommunications, but not only, because we have many projects and programs in observations, navigations. For instance, we are manufacturing a significant part of the Galileo system on board and on ground. Exploration, we have been involved in significant parts of the International Space Stations, and military products, of course, because we are a part of the Thales Group. So really, we are in all domains of space, and we benefit from a cross-fertilization between all these domains. This is the case, for instance, for Internet of Things between navigation and telecommunications. And of course, we take benefit from our military development, especially for digital products, which are currently everywhere in telecom, in new telecom satellites. On next slide, please. We are around 8,000 employees at Thales Alenia Space, just working on space, because as I said, we are a part of Thales Group, which is much larger, and around 42% of our activities is for telecommunications. So for satellites, of course, but also for a part of the ground products. And 29% of our business is for commercial applications, and a little bit more than one half is for institutional customers. And we have 17 sites worldwide, in Europe, of course, but also in some other countries in the world. On next slide. So we currently are mainly manufacturing spacecraft for high throughput needs. I mean that the main part of what we are manufacturing today is composed of HTS spacecraft mainly for broadband applications. And the opposite is also true, meaning that a significant part of all the high throughput spacecraft that are currently manufactured in the world are made by us. So this is really the core product we have, satellites for broadband applications. And the main part of the satellites we are currently manufacturing is with the digital payloads. So digitalization and broadband is really at the core of our products and of our solutions. This is the main part of what we are manufacturing today for any application that I'm going to detail in the coming slides. On next slide. So we have seen in the recent years a strong shift from our customers, these satellite operators, a strong shift from satellites, which were mainly pure broadcast satellites, usually in Ku band or in C band, and for broadcast applications. So basically TV or fixed satellite services. And we have seen this shift to first to broadband spacecraft. So meaning that either the spacecraft are fully for broadband, or at least they are hybrid spacecraft. So including a capacity to deliver video, but also for connectivity, and the capacity to organize a transition from broadband, from broadcast to broadband, so hybrid spacecraft. And to do that, either for pure broadband or for hybrid broadcast and broadband, we are proposing today and manufacturing for a significant part of our programs digital solutions, because the digital solutions are exactly what we need to organize this transition of at least a part of the capacity of the satellites from broadcast to broadband. On next slide, please. So we are seeing more and more satellites for broadband, and this is for a broad range of applications. Of course, this is for internet access. With all other way it is possible to do internet access. So internet access directly to the customer, so consumer broadband. And consumer broadband is the main purpose of some spacecraft we are manufacturing, like Eutelsat Connect VHTS for Eutelsat. But this is also broadband for mobility, for aero communications, or for maritime communications. And we see also more and more needs for backhauling, or for what we call Wi-Fi hotspots aggregation. So for instance, an operator deploying Wi-Fi hotspots that are linked to the satellites. For instance, on one, we see the beginning of the deployment of 5G, of a 5G generation mobile phone networks. It will be easy to do it by ground in cities, but much more difficult in rural areas, when it will be much more costly to deploy the 5G network. And we see in many countries that governments, yes, they want to deploy the best solutions, and for instance 5G in the center of cities, but also for many reasons they need to also deploy the internet and 5G also in rural areas. And this is a place where satellites will have a role to play, for instance for backhauling, or for Wi-Fi hotspot aggregation. So this is in the general domain of a universal service obligation. We have seen it in Europe, in Australia, in Brazil. This is currently in the US, as my predecessor has said, with the rural deployment of internet initiative. And this will be a major application of the next years. On next slide. So an overview of the solutions we have developed for that. So the first product line is made of analog spacecraft for broadcast and or for broadband applications. So this is more or less the legacy product we have at Thales Alenia Space, and we are able to deliver this kind of spacecraft with a quite short schedule. I mean, typically 2 years. 2 years between the effective date of contracts and the in-orbit delivery. So this is, let's say, our legacy and historical product line. We are now delivering our first digital VHTS. So some spacecraft, usually quite large, but we can also provide some mid-sized spacecraft for HTS application. So typically spacecraft that could be either full chemical or full hybrid, usually fully digitalized. As I said, the main part of the spacecraft we are delivering today are fully digitalized for many reasons. Or for instance, the ability to allocate the capacity where it is needed, to modify in orbit the allocation of resources, to be able to progressively deploy the ground segment, so or to adapt to any evolution of the spectrum in the coming years. So this is what we have developed and what we are delivering today, the digital HTS or VHTS. And following that product line, we have developed also solutions based on the same product for hybrid missions. By hybrid, I mean both broadcast and broadband. So this is a combination of both needs. And thanks to the digital processor, we get the flexibility, yes, but on top of that, also the ability to organize a transition from an application to the other ones. And currently, third, we are developing what we call the Space Inspire product line, which is a new product line of software-defined satellites. So bringing the flexibility of coverage. Last point, the fourth one is about constellations, because as you probably know, we have been involved in almost all the commercial constellations that are currently in orbit from Iridium, O3b, or Globalstar. I will present it more in detail in the following slides. Next slide, please. So just a quick overview of some example of spacecraft we have recently made. So Eutelsat Connect Broadband for Africa is a HTS spacecraft we have delivered in 2019. It has been launched at the beginning of the year. So this is a full electrical spacecraft with is done for broadband application. Express MU 3 and 7. So we have been responsible for the payload only. It was a partner. It has been we have been partnered with ISS Reshetnev for the bus. And it has been delivered. It's a broadcast spacecraft. NILESat 301 is also a broadcast spacecraft, but with a mix of broadband. So this is a kind of hybrid mission I mentioned previously. It has been ordered in 2019. And SES 22 and 23 are the latest ones, because they have been ordered in June of this year. And these are spacecraft for broadcast application. On next slide, please. Our VHTS ongoing programs. So SES 17 for covering the America, Connect VHTS covering Europe and Middle East, and PSN Satria covering Indonesia. So these are 3 spacecraft for broadband application. SES 17 may be for aero mobility, and Connect VHTS mainly for consumer broadband, but also for backhauling and aero communications. And PSN Satria, which has been designed really for universal service obligation and the ability to serve the whole country of Indonesia, which is made of 17,000 of islands, and parts of this country which are remote areas and difficult to link by drone solutions. And this is the kind of solutions I had in mind when I mentioned this need for governments and for institutions to cover their whole country and not only the cities, and to deliver broadband not only in the cities but also to the whole country. On next slide. So this is 2 hybrid mission. So with both broadcast and broadband, we are manufacturing today. So Eutelsat 10B and Amazonas Nexus for Hispasat. They have been ordered 1 year ago, and both missions are fully processed, meaning that any carrier, any channel will go through a digital processor. and meaning that it will bring the ability to a lot of flexibility, the ability to reconfigure the spacecraft and to allocate the resource where it is really needed, and the ability to modify it in orbit accordingly. On next slide. So a quick overview of constellations. We have been involved in a large part of the constellations already in orbit, and basically in almost all the operational telecom constellations today, which are today operating. So Starlink is at beta test and will be, of course, a very strong competitor. But if I consider the constellations already delivered and fully operating in orbit, we have been involved in most of them. Globalstar 1, we were responsible for the payload only and the system. And starting from Globalstar 2, we have been responsible for the whole spacecraft and system. So on Globalstar 2, on O3b, on Iridium. So Globalstar 2, 24 satellites. O3b, we delivered 20 satellites. And for Iridium, we delivered 81 satellites. And with 75 are currently operating, and they are operating very well. We have been responsible for the deployment of the constellation. We have been responsible for the system definitions, and everything is working well. And I think our customers are really very happy with what we delivered. On next slide. So this is a short comparison of LEOs on one end and GEOs on the other end. I think this is in line with what we said today in the previous presentations. So yes, LEO is the best solution for global coverage, of course. The world is made of 70% of seas. But LEO could be the best solution if you need to cover the seas, for instance, for aero communications or for some military needs, or if you want to cover the poles. Of course, latency is much better with LEOs because it goes down to some tenths of milliseconds, whereas it is half a second or a quarter of a second for GEOs. But we have to keep in mind that on top of the round-trip latency due to free space propagation, you have to add the network contribution. The network contribution can be in the typical order of 100 of milliseconds. So we have to take care of that when we speak of LEO constellation. But yes, the latency is of course shorter with LEOs. With LEOs, you can benefit from a quite good environment. I mean a space environment, for instance, of radiations, meaning that you can more easily use COTS and some low-cost technologies, and which could be a good advantage. And in fact, this is needed because a constellation is a high capex investment, whereas for GEOs, of course, this is a much lower capex investment. And so that's why in our roadmap, we foresee more LEOs for either for, let's say, competitors like big four operators, or for some new entrants with let's say a strong funding capabilities, like this is the case of Starlink, or this is the case of Amazon. But in terms of capex, of course, a constellation is capex intensive. An important drawback of constellation is in the Earth terminal, Because whereas for geo broadband system, you can envisage to have some terminals in the order of magnitude of $100 for $100 cost. This is not the case yet for LEOs. Even Starlink is proposing some terminals at $500, which is really low for LEO constellation terminal, but which is of course higher than the one we can have with a GEO system. So I think the bottleneck today is really in the terminal we can use for a LEO system compared to the one we can have for a GEO system. On next slide. So our offer. At Thales Alenia Space, we can be involved in fact, in all the pieces, the pieces of the puzzle for a full broadband system. It can be at satellite level, of course, but it can also be at payload level. Sometimes we deliver the payload and we partner with a national platform manufacturer. It has been the case, for instance, in Argentina. We teamed with a local partner. But usually we deliver a full satellite, and we can also provide launch services if it is needed, support for regulation. We can support advices for regulation, for instance, for the filings if it is needed. We can provide you with a ground segment. We can provide you with technology transfer, with a part of the ground segment. Really, we adapt to each one of our customers and to the right level of involvement which is needed, depending on the customer and the level of implication our customer want to have. On next slide. So this is a slide for focusing on national system and the fact that for national system, yes, this is not only a matter of delivering a satellite. Usually, it's also a matter of many other things, like improving the skills of the national population, of the national people. This is a matter of autonomy and sovereignty, meaning that some national operators can need some support and some skills improvement for satellite operation. This is a matter of really a matter of partnering, and that's why at Thales Alenia Space we not only deliver a satellite, we also propose some partnerships with local industry and some cooperations with for either schools, universities, national organizations. This is, for instance, what we have done in Brazil with the SDDC programs. It was really a program not only of delivering a satellite, but also to improve the national skills for this space for these space applications. And the last slide, my last slide, is an overview of some national partnerships we had with different customers with Korea on Korea Sat 5 and 7, with the Middle East with the United Arab Emirates on Yahsat 1A and 1B. We were responsible for the payload and for the system. Partnership with Turkmenistan on Turkmenalem, with Brazil, as I said, on SDDC-1. Partnership with Bangladesh on Bangabandhu, and with Egypt, we were responsible for the payload and for the system. So really, we adapt to our customer needs at the right level, which is specified. And it's not only about delivering a satellite; it's also a real partner with the national needs of the country we are partnering with. So I have just a last slide to So my next slide is just to one more time to warmly thank you to have this opportunity. I thank you, the organization and the facilitators. Really thank you. And this is the end of my presentation.